Be Wealthy and Smart, episode 286.
Step into a world of wealth and financial freedom without budgets, boredom, or bosses on Be Wealthy and Smart. And now, here's your host, Linda P. Jones.
Welcome to Be Wealthy and Smart. I'm Linda P. Jones, America's Wealth Mentor, empowering women and men worldwide to financial freedom. On today's show, you're going to learn how much money does it take to be considered wealthy. This came from an article on CNBC. Kathleen Elkins does a great job writing articles there. And this was about a Schwab survey on wealth. And it says that Americans say it takes an average of $2.4 million to be considered wealthy. As for how much it takes to be considered financially comfortable, the survey says it takes an average of $1.1 million. So $2.4 million is wealthy, $1.1 million is financially comfortable. By that standard, the article goes on to say, less than 10% of American households qualify as, quote, comfortable, since less than 10% have over $1 million. The article goes on to say, Americans are split on their definitions of wealth, with some describing wealth as a specific sum of money and others describing it more as a state of mind. And I totally agree with that. You know, people have different ideas about what they think money will do for them. But here's the thing. When asked to define wealth, the top 5 sentiments among 1,000 Americans who were polled are these 5 things. And I have found in my work that these 5 things come up over and over and over and over again. It's basically how people think of wealth. And I think there's a lot of consensus here about how people do that. So let me share it with you. When asked to define wealth, the top 5 sentiments in order of importance are, number 1, having a lot of money. 27% said having a lot of money is how they define wealth. Makes sense to me. Number 2, 24% said enjoying life's experiences. Well, that makes sense too. I've talked a lot on the podcast about how money isn't always about things. It's a lot about experiences with your family, with your friends, whether that's travel or going to concerts or doing things that really help you experience life. I think money gives you the freedom to do that. So that makes complete sense to me too. Number 3, when asked to define wealth, they said being able to afford anything they want. That was 22%. I think a lot of people, that's their fantasy of wealth, is being able to buy whatever you want, being able to afford whatever home you want, whatever cars you want. When it comes to thinking about things, it's about, hey, I can have whatever I want. That is how people sort of think of wealth. So that makes total sense as well. Number 4, wealth is about living stress-free and having peace of mind. That was up to 19% of people said that. And that makes total sense too. People want financial freedom. They want to feel like they don't have to worry. Maybe they don't have to work or be chained to a job anymore. The stress levels can decline. This is complete sense in terms of what wealth is to people. And number 5, wealth to people, 12% said having loving relationships with family and friends. Of course, you want to have people around you that love you. You want to be able to spend time with them, do things with them, go places with them. These are things that make a lot of sense. So again, having a lot of money. Number 2, enjoying life's experiences. Number 3, being able to afford anything you want. Number 4, living stress-free and having peace of mind. And number 5, having loving relationships with family and friends. That's really what people perceive wealth to be and why they strive for wealth. And that makes total sense to me. I totally agree with this in my experience. Again, this is what people have told me. They're looking for what they want out of wealth building. It's not about the money or piling up the money or being richer than someone else. It's about what you can do with it, what it's going to do for your life, and what things you can have with it to help you enjoy life. So that makes complete sense. I thought those were really interesting and wanted to share those with you. The article goes on to say, when asked to compare two opposing ideas of wealth at a more personal level, Americans lean into things that money can't buy. So again, if you have a choice between something money can buy and something money can't buy, we're more likely to depend on those things that money can't buy. 65% equate wealth with having good physical health versus having lots of money. And 58% say wealth is about having gratitude versus having money. And 56% believe wealth is about building community versus working on one's career. Now, this is the only one that really surprised me, because I think that's a big departure from past generations of our parents or maybe even our grandparents who talked about working hard on one's career and moving forward and achieving a lot in life. Now, 56% believe wealth is really about building community versus working on one's career. 44% still say they think it's about working on your career, but 56% believe it's about building community. So I think that's a real shift. Maybe it's a really positive shift. Kind of sounds like it to me, where instead of just thinking about people themselves and their own career, they're thinking about the greater good. And so I think that's a positive change. So I thought this was a well done survey that Schwab did. Kudos to Charles Schwab. And it's always interesting to hear what people think about money. To me, not a lot has changed. Not a lot was surprising, except the fact that we're moving toward building community versus working on just your career. If you want to see this article, it's posted on my website at lindapjones.com. I'll put a live link there to this article so you can read all the details and see the rest of the survey if you're interested. If we haven't yet connected on social media, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Linda P. Jones and on Facebook at Linda P. Jones fan page. I have more ideas, more content, more little tips and tricks for you about wealth building on my social media, so I hope to connect with you there. If you haven't yet left me a review on iTunes or Stitcher Radio, I'd love to hear from you and hear your thoughts about Be Wealthy and Smart. And if you want to get your wealth building moving faster, go to my website at lindapjones.com and get your 11 quick financial tips to boost your wealth. There are 11 quick things anybody can do to get their wealth building growing faster. That's all for today. Until next time, live the good life and be wealthy and smart.
Thank you for listening to Be Wealthy and Smart with Linda P. Jones. Share the wealth and tell your family and friends about the show. Check out our website, blog, and social media for more riches at www.bewealthyandsmart.com.